Hi, everybody. It's Lorana. Happy Sunday. Welcome, welcome to Rose Garden Radio here from the center of the universe in Canton, Ohio. And I'm here at Miss Lorana's Alchemical Apothecary. So I'm really glad you're out there and you're helping me review this book. I'm excited. Hi, Amy. I love you guys. I'm going to recap a little bit. Last week we were in Egypt and we had just were walking. It was the night that King I can never say it. King Tut's tomb was being shown to the public for the first time in 1922. So people had come from all over the world, and they were all assembled in Luxor and staying at the Winter Palace. So as the group was proceeding to the tomb, the Sisterhood of the Golden Rose, we all met there and we veered off to our own pyramid. And we were inside, and Eleanor Roosevelt was there and she was presenting. And so she was just starting to present to the Sisterhood. And so I'll back up a little bit and start with that. Okay? Yay! So I'm on page 109. I'll start with Amy saying, I felt the room's energy settle down again. And this is Eleanor Roosevelt speaking right now. I have some very important news to share from the Galactic Federation of the Golden Rose, Eleanor said more seriously. As you are well aware, our sisterhood has had a presence here on Earth for thousands of years. Many of you can trace your Golden Rose lineage back that far, she said, looking out with love and affection pouring from her heart. Our mission has always been the same, to bring peace and healing to the planet and to keep evolving spiritually as individuals and a human race, she stated passionately. Many of you have taken local, national, and global roles to help facilitate this cause, and tonight we can celebrate our contribution to the world and our individual spiritual progression. I watched Mrs. Roosevelt look around and bind all of our energies together before she continued. However, the sisterhood has a far greater role to play, and that role is coming in the future. She paused to let this information descend upon the room. I should say descend upon the chamber. The Galactic Federation of the Golden Rose has decided to have the entire sisterhood on the planet at that future time. We will be able to access our collective energy for the greater good and evolution of our planet like never before. There was a rush of murmurs in the group, and Eleanor waited for them to settle before continuing. What we have always believed will become reality. A more vibrant frequency will reign and our lives will be extended indefinitely, she stated confidently. I could feel the excitement as the ladies looked around at one another. We can be excited and hopeful, Eleanor said, smiling at all of the sisters. The harder news is that our current dispensation here on Earth will end tomorrow evening at the stroke of midnight. At that time, we will have no memory of our sisterhood, and there will be no recorded knowledge that we have ever existed. I heard and felt the collective gasp, followed by a brief silence, then a rumble of voices as many of the sisters started talking all at once. Eleanor watched as the information assimilated. She raised her arms with her palms extended to the women, and a silence fell once again as she continued. This may seem incomprehensible, yet there is a great wisdom in the decision. The activities that will occur over the next 100 years will not further and may harm our sisterhood. We will all return, and when each of us awakens to who they really are, the Sisterhood of the Golden Rose will reunite and our collective mission will begin. Yay! The golden age will be upon us again, she finished, exhilarated. A woman stood up in the group. Yes, Huda. That's Huda Sha'arawi, an important force in Egypt's feminist movement, Aunt Lorana whispered in my ear. When will this golden age occur, and how will we know that it's going to work? Huda asked. Can we stop this? Another voice cried out from the back row. My aunt leaned over to whisper in my ear. Are you beginning to sense why we are here, Amy? I nodded, beginning to piece the convoluted spiral of events together. As the growing unease rose, my aunt stood up. Eleanor, if I may, Aunt Lorana said. Eleanor nodded her approval and motioned my aunt forward to stand beside her at the podium. My niece Amy and I have come from the future, Aunt Lorana began. I heard another collective gasp. We have traveled here from the year 2023, she announced, letting the room settle back down before continuing. I began to wake up to who I really was, Lorana, as you have all known me, in 2018, just like Eleanor said we would. The total process took me a couple of years. I looked around to get a sense of how the sisters were accepting this information. All eyes were riveted on my aunt. An energetic lightning bolt shot through my back, igniting the golden rose in my chest. I had no idea what had happened to me, yet I accepted my golden rose experience as true and pursued it. One thing led to another until I regained full consciousness, Aunt Lorana concluded. There was an excited and overwhelming uproar with her last sentence. Eleanor stepped forward and a hush settled back over the room. Lorana, you and Amy are truly a blessing here tonight. I have been informed that the Galactic Federation will reopen our dispensation on Earth in December of 2012. They are not sure when all of the sisters will fully awaken and remember who they are, but it can start to happen at that time, Eleanor said, looking towards my aunt to continue her story. It is true that there is no information about us in history. I heard another collective gasp and excited murmurs. After seeking with the truest desire in my heart to understand what had happened to me for months on end, I received my first clue. I was traveling on a plane and started to take on other people's pain. I had occasionally experienced things like this before, so I intuitively healed the aches and pains. Right after each of these healings, though, I heard, please accept this healing from the Sisterhood of the Golden Rose. With my spiritual ears, Aunt Lorana said, looking around the room and holding them in rapt attention. There are machines now called computers that can access the information from anywhere in the world about any subject matter in seconds. I researched every day for almost a year after hearing our name and could not find any information about our sisterhood. We have been kept well hidden, and I believe I am the first sister of the Golden Rose to reawaken. Aunt Lorana had to wait for the group to settle down before she could speak again. Amy and I have recently traveled to 1778 and met with our sister Marie Antoinette. She has agreed to leave subtle clues about us. Many of you have already seen the painting by Elizabeth Lebrun of Marie holding a rose. Yes, Eleanor said, the plan is working already. We have only a very short time, but we can each leave clues that might help ourselves and other sisters remember who they are. Trust your intuitions about the task, she said. What about this lifetime? Coco asked, standing up. Will we still know each other? That is a very good question, Coco, Eleanor said. Yes, you will remember all of your interactions with each other and the friendships except those inside of the sisterhood. Once the Federation closes our dispensation, it will be like a wall with no windows, Eleanor explained. There will be nothing to remember. Again, I felt and heard a rumble move through the group. I just had another idea, I whispered to Aunt Lorana. I surprised myself by raising my arm a little in the air. Amy would like to address the sisterhood, my aunt said, catching me by surprise. I stood up and gathered my courage. Well, I started. Speak up, Ami, a voice said from the back row. Well, I started again, turning around to address the group. I was thinking that if you all wrote down your names on a piece of paper and gave it to us, maybe we could use it to help you remember someday. I mean, if you saw your name somewhere or someone called you that, I drifted off, unsure if this was such a good idea. Amy, that is a brilliant idea, Eleanor said. I felt myself flush from her praise. I felt less timid as I added another thought. Well, maybe there's one thing, like a clue, you could write by your name also. Something you think you would never forget. That connects you to the sisterhood, I said, feeling more confident. Amy, that is another great idea, Eleanor beamed, clasping her hands together. If Lorana and Amy believe they have found another sister, they can give her the clue to see if it helps recover her memory. Lorana looks exactly the same, although more vibrant. Perhaps you will look the same too, if not similar to yourselves. Now, so if any of you have a photo with you, please sign the back and give it to us, Eleanor added. Yes, Almina, Eleanor acknowledged Almina's waving hand. I sat down, happy to be out of the spotlight. Should we think of a group word or phrase that we can all agree upon, Almina asked? Then we may also have a better chance of activating our collective memory. Another brilliant idea, Eleanor agreed. Why don't we ponder this and pick a name or phrase tomorrow evening at the gala? Let's pass around a sheet of paper now and make the name list while we're all here, she decided. I had another thought of something that might be important. So I raised my hand again and Eleanor acknowledged me. I was wondering if anyone is pregnant. I think they should make a note of that. If you've picked a name for the new baby, write it down. We might be able to track a lineage when we get back to 2023. Amy, I don't know where you get your ideas, but you are amazingly talented and in tune. The sisterhood is in good hands with you and Lorana, Eleanor beamed. Oh my gosh, you just made me think of another idea. In 2023, we have the technology to test individual DNA, which has not even been discovered yet. It's what makes each individual unique, a unique blueprint or code. This DNA code can be found in a single strand of hair, I explained excitedly. When a sister wakes up to who she has always been, I think a piece of hair we have from her right now will also wake up, and the DNA from the two hair strands will be identical, I stated. I realized this information was flowing through me. I didn't know how else I could possibly know it. The noise in the chamber began to escalate. Sisters, Eleanor said, holding her hands up for silence, I realize this information sounds unbelievable to many of us, but we have to trust. Coco stood and waited to be acknowledged. That's Coco Chanel. I think we should make 2 copies of all this information. One should go with Lorana and Ami, and the other we should place in a time capsule and hide here in this chamber for safekeeping. And I know just the spot. Yes, that is a very good idea. I will let you make all the arrangements, Coco, Eleanor said. There was a burst of applause, and without anything being said, the women got up, stored their pillows, and began to hug each other affectionately. I could see the room glowing around them. Amy, how did you come up with all those great ideas? Aunt Lorana asked me. They just popped into my head, I told her, not really knowing how it happened. What do you think of Eleanor? She asked softly. She feels very queenly, I think, yet very down to earth. I love her, I said, feeling like I knew her better than I could since we had just met. Exactly my feelings too, Aunt Lorana agreed. I had never been in such a vibrant group of women. I could feel my own inner energy accelerate. It was a little weird. And I think I'm going to end it right there, because after that we leave the chamber and we're off to another adventure. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for your comments and your help and your support in this project. And I love you all. I can't wait to see you next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.